You know what nobody talks about when it comes to running a video production business? When it actually works. Everybody talks about getting your first client, how to make 10K a month, how to land bigger jobs, or just how to survive that first year. But what about when you've been grinding at this since high school? Because the truth is, I put in the work for almost a decade. I did the freelance hustle. I worked the late nights. I spent years broke. I questioned everything I was doing constantly. And then I actually started making a living off of this, having bootstrapped it all by myself. And then a career and started a production business that's been my wife and I's only source of income since 2021, and ended up with too much work that I overworked and overbooked myself, realized I had zero systems and needed to delegate. So I went and did that. And now, for the first time since I graduated at 18, I'm 27 now, and I'm finally starting to see the pieces come together. But you know what? It doesn't feel like how I thought it would, and the problems have not gone away. It's like a different level of feeling lost, because the person I was when I started this is definitely not the person I am now at 27, even though I'm finally starting to find a little bit more time to enjoy my life instead of filling every free moment with work. But here's what I've begun to figure out. I almost quit this whole thing last year. It just got to a point where I couldn't sustainably do this anymore. For two reasons. One, I wasn't trusting God to provide, and I kept doing everything in my own strength, taking on every project that came my way out of a desperate mindset. And two, I was hardly delegating anything. After a year of finally handing things over to others, I started getting some of my time back. But more than that, I think God had to bring me to my breaking point for me to realize I honestly was not trusting him. Maybe I'd tell myself I was, but if I'm being honest, I was still believing the lie that if I just hustled more, did more in my own strength, worked myself to the bone, I'd find success. And after almost a decade of that, I was left burned out, confused, stressed, and what I realized was my only identity is tied up in what I do. I think as creatives, this needs to be talked about a little bit more. We so easily let our identity revolve completely around what we do and what we've accomplished. Looking back, I feel like I wasted so much time focused on myself and my work that if someone would have asked me back then, what if you quit filmmaking and did something else? I would have thought, well, I'd probably fall apart. Because the truth is, this is all I've really ever known. I know I've only recently started posting on YouTube again, and I haven't really been nearly as public about documenting my journey in filmmaking to the extent that some people have, but I've been working as a filmmaker professionally since I graduated high school in 2017. We're coming up on 10 years now, and honestly, if we wanted to get technical, my first paid gig was at 13 years old, a wedding video I shot for my band teacher, and from there I kept going through high school, shooting videos for the local tourism board in the small town I lived in, some promo videos for my high school, and even a few music videos for some local bands. All of it paid work. It's crazy to me looking back that people would have actually paid a 14, 15, 16-year-old kid to do these paid jobs, but you know what? That's how I got started. I did work other jobs too. I was a groundskeeper at a resort during the summers in high school and a barista at a local cafe, but those were just a means to an end, ways to save up enough money to move out after graduation. And since then, I've literally just been following this one step at a time, which is cool, I guess, and it's grown my faith in God a crazy amount. But it also made me wrap my identity up so tightly in what I do, because my entire life, day in and day out, was just a constant grind of shoot, edit, repeat. And it got so bad that it became destructive to my mental and spiritual health. I'm sure you've experienced this too, but I would get so much anxiety before any shoot because I was so scared of messing something up. I gave clients so much power in my head. It would keep me up at night, stressing about every little thing that could go wrong. And I'll be honest, that hasn't 100% gone away, but I have grown a lot in it. Because I realized I was holding on so tightly to this business and this film thing that I was white-knuckling my way through life, scared of losing everything. It wasn't really until this past year, when I almost shut everything down, that I realized I hadn't truly been trusting God. Not just saying it, but like actually doing it. Acting in faith, letting myself not care so much, realizing life is short, and God began to show me what really matters. Since then, I've started noticing more peace in the day-to-day. It's almost like I've stopped caring in a way, while still caring a lot, but not in that anxious way, because I've decided to just fully give the business over to God, to just let him do whatever he wants with it. And that's not something I was able to do 7 years ago. I did too much in my own strength, and the burnout from that was real. But after years of what feels like a season of sowing, I think God brought me to a point where I honestly just wanted to quit, not even wanting to do this anymore. And that's where I realized I actually just had to give the whole thing up to him. So if you're on a similar journey, just know God's got a plan for you. I know it sounds cliche, but you can really trust him. It's scary sometimes, but so incredibly freeing when you finally just let go of your business, your worries about it, the fear that if you don't worry about it, somehow nothing will happen. He's got it. He'll provide. And I am here reporting that back to my worried, stressed out younger self that it's true. I'm 10 years into this and it's still working. I've been able to pay my bills every month. My wife doesn't have to work a 9 to 5 or anything like that. And while we've definitely had some rocky financial patches, things just continue to keep working. So where are things at now? Not perfect, to say in the least. Actually, as I'm recording this, we just had one of our slowest months in years back in June, which is a little odd because historically June has always been one of our most booked months. And I did find myself starting to stress about it. But you know what? July rolled around and everything's fine. Sure, I may not be as busy as I was last year or earlier this year, but I'm choosing to trust God. I'm doing my best to tithe monthly, and I'm continuing to just give the business over to him, asking him to do whatever he wants with it. And I'm trying to actually enjoy it a little bit too. Things are working. The systems I have spent years building are starting to run themselves. Our project manager is able to keep most of the client communication and day-to-day management running smoothly. We even had a major scope creep situation on an ongoing client project that just ended up working itself out. And you know what? I got through it without actually having a mental breakdown for once. So life's good. God is good, and I'm trusting him. They say gratitude and worry can't coexist, so I'm choosing gratitude. Anyway, I hope this resonated with you. If it did, consider subscribing and checking out some of our other videos. A like or a comment really does help this channel grow. And I would really love to hear about your own experience running a video business and some of the challenges that you've faced and overcome. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.